They say America is built on dreams, but in the forgotten places, the ones left to rot and sink into the earth, darker things have a way of taking root. A house lost deep in the woods, a crumbling fort by a river, a town smoldering with secrets beneath the ground. Curiosity draws them in, and fear drags them out. And what they found lurking in the shadows? Well, that part they may never forget. These are their stories. Welcome to Weird Encounters, a place where the ordinary fades into shadow and the unexplainable comes alive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and become part of our ever-growing community of the curious. Now prepare yourself, because what you are about to hear is not for the faint of heart. They say some homes have memories, others secrets, and sometimes those secrets are better left undisturbed. But human curiosity has a way of rattling old bones, and in one forgotten house deep in the woods, something was still very much awake. I wasn't even sure if I should send this. I've written it and deleted it about 10 times. It sounds crazy even to me, but it's real. I saw it with my own eyes, and I still wake up sweating thinking about it. It happened about a month ago, early March, in the forest just north of Athens, Ohio. That whole area is full of weird places if you ask the locals. People talk about the ridges, the old asylum, and weird lights out by Stroud's Run, but there's this one place I never heard about until recently, the Vickerson House. Supposedly, the family that lived there in the 1940s just vanished, left everything behind, plates on the table, clothes in the closet, like they just got up in the middle of dinner and walked straight out into the trees. Some people say the dad went crazy. Others say there was something wrong with the land itself, cursed by the Shawnee long before settlers came through. I don't know, but either way, it's been rotting away out there ever since. So me and my cousin Danny decided to check it out. We grew up on scary stories, and we figured it would be a good night hike. Just a thrill, you know? We should have stayed home. It was about a 40-minute hike in, overgrown trails, thorn bushes cutting up your arms, the whole deal. You couldn't even hear the road after a while. Just the crunch of your boots on old leaves and the creaking of the woods. The moon wasn't out either, so it was pitch black except for our flashlights. The first thing we noticed when we found the house was how it didn't fit. I mean, it's just sitting there, right in the middle of the trees like the woods grew up around it, swallowing it whole. 2 stories, sagging porch, half the windows broken, the roof caved in on one side. But the weird thing, there were tracks, big ones, like heavy boots. Or something else. Not fresh exactly, but not fully washed away either. You could see them leading right up to the porch and around the side. We joked a little, said maybe the place was haunted by Bigfoot wearing work boots, anything to keep the nerves down. But stepping onto that porch, it was like walking into a different world. The smell was sharp, metallic almost, like blood but not fresh. Danny tried the front door, but it was stuck, so we went around the side where a whole panel of the wall was just rotted away. Stepping inside, you could hear the boards groaning under us. Every step sounded like a gunshot in that dead quiet. Inside looked like a time capsule. Dust-covered furniture, yellowed newspapers from 1947, a child's doll half melted in the corner. The wallpaper was peeling in long strips, and it smelled even worse inside. It made my eyes water. We were just poking around, taking some pictures, when we heard it. A thud. Upstairs. Both of us froze. Danny whispered and asked if it was an animal. I didn't answer because I already knew it wasn't. Danny wanted to leave, and so did I. But something, I don't know, call it stubbornness or stupidity, kept us rooted. We listened, breath held, and heard another thud. Then a dragging sound, like something heavy being pulled across the floor above us. That snapped us out of it. We turned to go back out the side, but, and I swear on my mother's grave. When we looked, the opening we came through wasn't there anymore. It wasn't gone exactly, just wrong. It was very strange. The hallway seemed stretched, pulled longer than it should have been, like some funhouse mirror trick. The walls bowed in strange directions, and the doorways led to nowhere but dark. Danny started panicking, swearing under his breath, shining his flashlight every which way. I told him we had to stick together, find another way out. We backtracked into what looked like the kitchen, and that's when we saw it. At the edge of the flashlight beam, something was standing at the top of the basement stairs. Tall. Real tall. Maybe 7 feet, maybe more. Its skin was wrong and looked dry, cracked like old leather left out in the sun. Its eyes were 2 tiny white dots, no pupils, no blinking. And its mouth. God. It wasn't a mouth like ours. It was a split down the middle of its face, jagged, yawning, and open. I didn't even realize I was screaming until I felt Danny grab my arm and yank me. We ran through the house, crashing through rotten furniture, not even thinking. We found a back door somehow, or what was left of one, and we just burst through it. I don't know how long we ran. Branches were slapping our faces, roots were tripping us up. We didn't stop until we could see the car headlights through the trees. Even then, when we were safe in the car, with the doors locked and the engine running, we could still feel it, watching us. The woods felt creepy and alive. Danny refuses to talk about it now, says we imagined it. He says we were just scared. But I know what I saw. I know what followed us. And sometimes, late at night, when the wind's just right, I swear I can hear the creak of those floorboards in the distance. I'll never go near that house again, and neither should you. Curiosity can be a powerful thing. But as Mark and Danny learned, some doors are best left closed, and in the woods north of Athens, Ohio, something is still waiting behind one of them. In this next story, a subscriber writes in to tell us how history fades and darkness settles in. This story comes from one of those places. So, lean in close and listen carefully. After what happened, I just needed to tell someone. This happened 2 months ago, end of February, just outside Stockton, New Jersey. I'm from Camden originally, but I moved out to the quieter parts of Hunterdon County about 6 years ago to get away from the city noise. Anyway, one night me and my buddy Rich got the brilliant idea to go explore this old abandoned place we'd heard about, Camp Stockton. Not the military base up north, but the ruins of a Civil War-era training fort that they say is back deep in the woods near the Delaware River. You don't find it on Google Maps real easy. It's like a half-known local legend. People say teenagers go there to drink. That weird things happen sometimes. My neighbor, this older guy who's lived out here his whole life, said he remembered hearing about a kid going missing there back in the 70s. Said the cops ruled it as him running away, but that nobody ever found him. He looked dead serious when he told me that. No smirk, no kidding around. I should have listened. It was around 10:30 p.m. when we parked by this old dirt road right near the river bend and started hiking in. No lights, no markers, just a black trail winding through the trees. We brought one flashlight between the two of us because we didn't think we'd need more. You could see your breath, it was so cold. After about 20 minutes, we started seeing these weird stone walls and foundations poking up through the weeds, crumbled brick, half buried. The flashlight made everything look worse, like we were walking into some forgotten graveyard. Rich was laughing about it, trying to freak me out, whispering stupid stuff like, "Welcome to your tomb." But after a while, even he got quiet. I remember asking him why he stopped joking around, and he just shrugged, said the air felt wrong, and it did. I don't even know how to explain it. The trees seemed too still, too close together. No bugs, no night sounds. Just that heavy dead silence pressing down on you. Then we found the main structure. It was bigger than I expected. Low stone walls, maybe waist high, some still standing up to the roof line, and a rusted iron gate twisted off its hinges, half buried in the dirt. Looked like it used to be some kind of supply post or maybe barracks. The weird thing was, the ground inside was sunken, like a crater, way deeper than the land around it, like something heavy had crushed it in. We walked around the edge, and that's when Rich spotted it. This big, weird hole in one of the corners, partly hidden by debris, like a tunnel entrance almost, but rough, clawed out of the earth and stone. It didn't look man-made, looked wrong. I didn't want to go near it. Every hair on my arms was standing up, but Rich, being Rich, started daring me. You know how guys are. We're idiots sometimes. So against my better judgment, we went closer. The smell hit first. Rotten, like a wet animal carcass mixed with burning hair. It made my stomach turn. Rich shined the flashlight down the hole and immediately swore under his breath. I leaned over and saw what he was seeing. Something moved down there. Something big, bigger than a dog, way bigger than a coyote. Pale, almost white skin that caught the light in patches, and these long limbs, way too long for anything normal. We didn't wait to see more. We booked it. But, and I swear this is true, whatever it was, it followed. Not right away. We made it maybe 50 yards before we started hearing it, this clicking sound, like claws tapping on stone, then a scraping, like it was dragging something heavy behind it. Rich was yelling at me to move faster, but the woods were a maze, all brambles and half-fallen trees. I remember stumbling over a root and just eating dirt. When I looked up, Rich was standing dead still about 20 feet ahead, flashlight pointed off to the side. I called his name, but he didn't answer. He just kept staring, and then he dropped the flashlight. The beam rolled, caught something behind the trees. Eyes. Not normal animal eyes either. They didn't reflect the light like a deer's would. They absorbed it. Two huge black pits just staring right at us. I don't even remember getting up. I just ran. We didn't stop until we hit the dirt road again, and even then we didn't speak, just dove into the car and tore out of there. I don't think I blinked the whole drive back to town. Afterward, we tried to figure out what the hell it could have been. Some people around here talk about the pale thing in the woods. It's not a real big story online, but locals know it. Some say it's a spirit from the Lenape tribes. Others say it's something the military stirred up back when they used the woods for training exercises in the 40s. I don't know what it is. I just know it's still out there, and it knows we saw it. I haven't been back. Won't go anywhere near the river trail anymore. Rich moved down to South Carolina a few weeks ago. Said he needed a change of scenery, but I know better. We saw something we weren't supposed to see. I'm just hoping it doesn't come looking for us. Thanks for listening, and please don't go looking for that fort. Just a crumbling ruin lost to time, or something ancient and hungry, still waiting for the next foolish soul to wander too close. One thing's for sure. Jason and Rich will never forget the night curiosity led them somewhere they were never meant to be. Have you ever heard of Centralia? A town frozen in time, left to smolder in silence. Streets that lead to nowhere, buildings half swallowed by earth, and a thick choking mist that hides more than just crumbling ruins. In Centralia, Pennsylvania, something far worse than fire still lingers, and some who wander in don't always wander out. It was late October when my friend Chelsea and I decided to take a day trip to Centralia, Pennsylvania. You probably know about it, that ghost town where the coal mine fires started back in the 60s and never stopped. The government evacuated almost everyone, but some stubborn folks stayed behind for years. Now it's basically abandoned except for a few cracked roads, foundation ruins, and that creepy old cemetery up on the hill. We're into urban exploring. Not hardcore, just casual weekend trips to weird places, ghost towns, old hospitals, that kind of thing. Centralia had been on our list forever. We got there late afternoon. It was already gloomy, heavy gray sky, that sticky, humid kind of cold that clings to your clothes. You could see the smoke rising from cracks in the ground even from the road. It smelled like burning rubber and rotten eggs. I remember Chelsea joking that it looked like Silent Hill. I laughed, but inside, it didn't feel funny. The place was dead. No birds, no squirrels, not even the wind moving the trees. Just that smoke winding between the broken pavement like fingers. We parked by one of the old closed-off streets and started walking in, taking pictures, just being stupid, really. There was this thick mist creeping low across the road. Chelsea dared me to go ahead first, and of course I did. Stupid, right? About a half-mile in, we found the old church ruins. I'd read about it, St. Ignatius or something, but it was mostly just broken stone walls and rusted metal crosses now. That's when we noticed there were tracks, big clawed prints, almost like bear prints, but wrong. Too many toes, too deep. Chelsea thought maybe someone had made fake tracks to scare tourists. I wanted to believe that too, until we heard it. A wet dragging sound, like something heavy sliding across asphalt. At first it was faint behind the mist, but it got louder and closer. Chelsea whispered to turn off the flashlights. So we did. We ducked behind a collapsed wall and just waited, holding our breath. Through the smoke, something shuffled into view. I swear to God it didn't look real. It was pale, slimy, almost translucent like the belly of a fish. Long arms that scraped along the ground, pulling its bloated body behind it, its head. It didn't have eyes that I could see, just gaping holes, and these little flaps or tendrils twitching where a mouth should be. It made this horrible wet slapping noise every time it moved. There wasn't just one. Behind it, more figures started to appear through the mist, moving slow but deliberate, like they were looking for something. Chelsea grabbed my arm so hard her nails dug in. She whispered one word, "Run," and we took off. We didn't even know which way was back. Everything looked the same in that thick, choking smoke. The ground was cracked open in places too, jagged fissures with smoke pouring out, sulfur stinging your eyes. You could hear the creatures moving faster now, the dragging, the slap, slap, slap of wet flesh against stone. At one point, Chelsea tripped, and I had to haul her up by the back of her jacket. I swear something brushed my ankle, something cold and slick. I didn't look back. We ran until the smoke started to thin, and we could see the car glinting through the trees. We barely made it inside and locked the doors. Even then, for a second, we thought we saw movement at the edge of the woods, something shifting just out of sight, watching us. We didn't talk the whole drive home. I don't know what those things are, if they were born out of the mines, or if they were always there under the ground, waiting. Maybe something about the fires woke them up. All I know is Centralia isn't just abandoned because of a fire. It's a graveyard for something much, much worse. Abandoned houses, old forts, forgotten towns, places swallowed by time, or something much, much worse. Sometimes it's the silence that lures you in. Sometimes it's the mystery. But every so often, it's something else entirely. Something waiting. Something watching. And for those who dare to wander too far into the forgotten corners of America, escape is never guaranteed. And so, another strange encounter fades away. A trick of the mind, or something far more unsettling. That's for you to decide. Thank you so much for watching my stories. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Your support is what keeps this channel going.